But I know we want to talk about stray voltage and kind of bring awareness to the community about that being a problem, whether you live in Waldo, Wisconsin or beyond. It can be a problem anywhere. But when did you start to notice stray voltage being a problem on your farm?
We had some issues, like in 2006. We had some pretty significant voltage coming through the farm, and we knew we had a problem. We set up some meters and were monitoring it. We weren't sure exactly where it was coming from. We had come through a couple fixes back then, and then in 2012 and 2013, we did a complete farm rewire. We went from a grounded B phase, 3-phase, to a 4-wire 208 3-phase. And then we also isolated ourselves from the utility company at that time and separated our neutrals between our farm and their neutrals. The stray voltage, when we had it, it was pretty detrimental for the reproduction, and the cows got affected with milk production some, and with having problems with ulcers, and I mean all kinds of stuff. They would be wearing their hair off on their hocks when they'd be laying down in the stalls, and you could just tell they weren't happy. We didn't have real high voltages at our farm that other farms have experienced in the areas, and I visited some of these other farms, and it's pretty devastating of what can happen on these farms. And going into that a little bit, we are getting revisited here now with a transmission line coming about 20 feet from our house, and coming through our cows' pastures at mine and Jennifer's house. It's not affecting the main farm, but at our farm here, we have it's a satellite farm, and it's where my dad grew up, and we can quarantine all the animals down here. Some of the areas require quarantine, for health tests and all that kind of stuff. So and we do a lot of the flushing down here at our facility because we have the right setups. So with this transmission line coming through that we've been fighting, they have several corridors that they possibly could use. Some that are within a half mile of our house, that they have a clear-cut path, 150-foot, tree cleared, and with a little bit of work or whatever, they could. A lot of the infrastructure that's in that corridor is from the 60s, and they could, they said they are going to upgrade it in the next 10 years, but they could upgrade it with this project and virtually use the same corridor that they have already and existing, but they really don't want to do that. They want to grab more land and putting it right in front of people's houses. And I think it's a real mistake what these utility companies are doing as of late. Years ago in the 60s, they put all these transmission lines midsection, right? So they would run them away from people's homes, and they knew there was dangers back then already. But now, out of convenience, they want to run them right next to roadways and right next to people's homes, just so they can get the cement trucks and everything else and a little easier, I guess. Their plan to come past my house here affects 49 homes within 300 feet of the transmission line. It's a 7-mile track. It goes through an outstanding river, right? So it's clear cutting through an outstanding river where there's only 200 and some in the whole state, and there's only one in Sheboygan County where we live here that has this status of being an outstanding river, and they want to just tromp right through that or whatever too. The existing corridor doesn't go through that area. It wouldn't avoid it. Their alternative route, because they suggested 2 routes to the Public Service Commission, goes about 8 miles, and it affects 41 homes within 300 feet of the power line. We organized a group, and Neighbors for Neighbors is our organization, and we've been battling against the utility company to try to use a more suitable way. We hired a few experts. We found a route that would affect 3 people within 300 feet of the power line, and would go 3 miles. So we substantially lost the length, and as well as affected a lot less people. The whole reason, agree with it or not, but for this project coming through is another utility company in our pipeline. They want to, they have natural gas. They're a natural gas compressing facility. Okay. So currently they're using natural gas engines to compress the natural gas. They're right on a natural gas head. Makes a lot of sense. But they want to convert these natural gas engines to electric engines. So they can be clean. They can run clean then, right? But the problem with that is they're not really, they might run clean at that particular site, but they're having to add another pipeline as well and go across everybody's fields and properties to get enough natural gas to the power station, which is, depending which power station they go to, it's between 30 and 40 miles away. So they're pumping that gas 40 miles, and then they're bringing the transmission back this long distance or whatever too from the power station. So it makes it really inefficient, and the pollution's still there. They're just polluting in a different location, and maybe polluting more because it's a lot less efficient than using the natural gas right there and generating the power you need right at that site.
Right.
So it's just really frustrating for me and my neighbors or whatever, and it's scary, because you don't know of what's going to happen. For sure that there's going to be induced voltage on your farm. So we have a bunch of metal buildings on our farm, and they already say that if you don't do special grounding with them, or if you park your vehicles anywhere near these lines, you're going to have to ground them out before you get in. Otherwise, you're going to get shocked. And, so it's just going to be already, they're saying those things are going to happen for sure. And then the stray voltage bit, to come along with it. They say one of the biggest things to cause stray voltage is to run parallel with a distribution line, a transmission line. And that's exactly what they're doing in our case here. They're going to be doing exactly what causes stray voltage. And, we're just worried about what effect it's going to have on our cows and my family, and my neighbors as well.